So to Mr. Strickland, with your work at the Kirwan Institute and My Brother's Keeper, you're in touch with systemic inequalities that affect Black communities and Black youth mentorship. So having said that, how have you seen the criminal justice system work for or against minoritized communities? Is everyone truly equal before the law?
No. So thank you for that question, one, and just to begin with, no, because we have a system that is built on white supremacy and patriarchy that has basically made itself where it is today on the oppression of other people, and it's specifically Black people, Black and brown people. You think about indigenous people, that when we talk about the history of this country, we can't talk about our nation's founding and our founding fathers without talking about the slavery and the genocide of the people who were here from the very beginning. And because of that history, that ugly history, it is embedded in our laws, our policies, our practices, and we normalize it over time. We've normalized the fact that Black and brown communities are overrepresented in categories and outcomes that measure failure, and underrepresented in outcomes that measure success. And so when we look at outcomes like the criminal justice system, that's why you see Black people are 3 to 4 times more likely to be arrested, incarcerated, sentenced longer than whites. And we see this over and over again. And there's a pervasive narrative that is out there. And it's a divisive narrative that says, well, the reason that we have this inequality, that we have this despair, is the result of individual actions or individual behaviors or personal deficit or cultural flaws, all this stuff, which is deeply racist, deeply xenophobic, deeply sexist, all these things that are designed to get you to fear people who don't look like you. And instead of providing the opportunity and dignity for all people, what we do is we lock them up and throw the key away. When in fact, if we are truly going to build a more equitable society, it is up to young people, it is up to everybody across generation, across races and backgrounds to say that we are demanding something more, that normal is not normal. Even before COVID-19, that return to normalcy was not okay for a lot of people. And so we have to provide opportunities so that we're creating new normals that upend systems, and that the status quo is no longer acceptable, and certainly not when it comes to our criminal justice system. Thank you.
Thank you for that comment. I definitely think it's important that you mentioned that normal is not normal, and that we as youth need to step up and help this movement move along. So to the other panelists, do you have any comments regarding what Mr. Strickland mentioned or regarding the question?
I agree wholeheartedly with what Kyle and I often are on different panels or in part of conversations with each other. And he is never wrong when it comes to this specific subject matter. And he's absolutely right. I mean, what we're seeing is a reckoning of sorts. And that's what I've actually been referring to as 2020, the Great Reckoning, of, you know, what our history, our real history in this country has contributed to this moment, this uprising that we're starting to see in this country and in the state of Ohio and in Columbus. And, you know, quite honestly, I welcome it. I welcome the uncomfortable conversations. I welcome anyone who is questioning their reality right now, their own history, their lack of education, the ignorance. And I don't mean that to be facetious when I say ignorance. It's ignorant if you don't know this country's true history. And so we have a lot of work to do, whether you're talking from a government's perspective or from higher education's perspective. We have a lot of work to do, and that work has to be done in a collaborative manner where Black and brown people are at the table. Oftentimes we're not at the table, we're being dictated as to what you're going to receive in your communities. We are demanding what we want to see in our communities.
Well, thank you guys for your responses.